So here's our final part to the review for the midterm. This part will be on logic. And number 37 says, write the negation of the statement. So the statement says she earns more than me. Let's look through the choices to see which one's the best. A says she earns the same as me. That's not opposite. She earns less than me. I know you want to say the opposite of more is less, but you're leaving out the part that they could be equal, so it wouldn't be the opposite to say less. She does not earn less than me. No, that's the same as she earns more than me. She does not earn more than me. That's what we want to go for, so D would be our answer. 38 says, no 5th graders play soccer. Really important, this no being at the beginning works as a universal quantifier. So when you're switching it, I want you to switch from a universal to an existential. So this word everybody, bad. Everybody, don't want that. And 5th graders, when we say 5th graders play soccer, sounds like all of them. So again, bad. We want it to say some. That's our switch to existential. And now it says some 5th graders play soccer. That's what I want. Alright, 39 says, P is you can lunch here. Q is it is between noon and 2 o'clock. So we want to use those two statements to turn this bigger statement into symbols. So this says you cannot get lunch here. So there's not P. If and only if, that's a double-headed arrows. It is not, so there's another negation, between noon and 2. So there's not Q. So that is D. 40, we have a truth table, and we want the truth table to be for not P and Q. So you can see the P is given true, true, false, false. The Q is given true, false, true, false. P and Q, and then not P and Q is what we need to do. So P and Q, true, true is true, true, false is false, false, true is false, and false, false is false. The last column is just to flip that to false, true, true, true. So we're looking through our choices and we're just making sure which one's the same. So I can see this one doesn't work, so this one's out. This says true, false, false, false. That's good, but that also says true, false, false, false. Here, true, false, false, false. That looks good. False, true, true, true. That also looks good. So these two, let's check that and let's just look at the last one, and I see there's a problem with that false down here. So this says C is our answer. Alright, here's another truth table. P and not Q. So again, P and Q are given. Not Q would be false, true, false, true. I want to put that together with and remember and needs all true. So true, false is false. True, true is true. False, false is false. And then false, true is false. So I'm looking for a false, true with a false, true, false, false. So false, true looks fine, but that last one does not. False, true, that looks good. And then false, true again, that's not right. False, true, that looks good. And then false, true, false. So both of those are looking good. And then over here, this one says false, true. That's the problem with the not Q on that one. So make sure you're looking at both columns. Don't just go to the last column because it could be misleading. Alright, number 42, I found they actually had a problem with the question, which I'm not thrilled about because I used the same type of generator to make the midterm review as I do to make the midterm, and I found there's a problem in this one. So this question should not read P implies Q and not Q. It should be instead, and I left myself a thing there so I could show you, it should be an arrow. So just a typo on their part that this should be an arrow in here. Alright, so let's look through P and Q. True, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. And that is fine in A. True, true, false, false, true, false, true, true. That's a problem in B. That's a problem in C. That's a problem in D. So this is not my favorite question as far as looking at it because it has some mess ups, I think, all together for it. But so I'll make sure the one you guys have is better. Let's still work this problem because I want to do another example. So here's PQ. Let's do Q implies P. Let's do not Q. And then I kind of ran out of room, so this will be Q implies P implies not Q. I just ran out of room. I got to the end of my page. Okay. So this is true, true, false, false. This is true, false, true, false. Q implies P. This time we're going to read right to left. So true, true is true. False true is true. True false, that is false. Be careful. True implies false is false. Everything else, which you can see, everything else is true. Not Q is false true. False true. And then I want to put these together. So I do true implies false is false. True true is true. False false is true. And then true true is true. So you can see that one matches with A, which is good because they kind of messed up Q on all the others. So that one, not my favorite problem, and I'll make sure the one on the midterm, I'm going to double check it to make sure it's okay. Alright, here's another constructed truth table. This one's for not P if and only if, not Q. I'm kind of having some room problems here, so let's see where I can squish some stuff in. I actually might have to go down to the bottom of the page and, oops. Well, let's see if we can do that. Let's see if I have any room down here. Yeah, let's put it down here and then I'll go back up. So here, oops. I'm going to make a P, Q, not P, not Q, and let's go back and see what we wanted. This is way up here. We want if and only if. Okay, so I have true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. So this will be false, false, true, true, false, true, false, true. Now, only when they match will they be true because the biconditional is only true when it's matching. So false, false is true, false, true is false, true, false is false, and true, true is true. So we're going to flip back up and see if we can find one that's true, false, false, true. All right, so here's our statements we're looking for, and we want a true, false, false, true. So I'm looking at the last ones, and the only one I see that's right is this one. Now, if I had found more than one that was right on the last column, I would go back and read the other columns to make sure that they were also in the correct order. All right. This one says, use a truth table to determine if these two statements are the same. So I have Q implies P and not P implies not Q. So I think I can fit it in here. So here's P, here's Q. Here's not P, not Q. Here's Q implies P. And then here's not P implies not Q. So here's true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false, 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 true, true, and then false, true, false, true. Okay. Q implies P. I want to go from Q to P. So true, true is true, false, true is true, true, false is false, and then false, false is true. Now I'm coming back to not P implies not Q, so false, false is true, false, true is true, true, false is false, and then true, true is true. So I can see in every situation they have the same truth values, so I say yes, they are equivalent. Okay. 45 says, write the contrapositive of the statement. If the electricity is out, then I cannot use the computer. So what I need to do is flip this around and do the negation. So this means I want to start here with I cannot use the computer, but now I want to say if I can use the computer. So if I can use the computer, which I see in C, then instead of the electricity being out, then the electricity is not out. So that's consistent with C. So I think flip it and negate it. So I flipped it. Instead of cannot use the computer, I can. And then electricity is not out. This one says write the converse and the inverse. Okay, converse means to flip the order. So this says if you drink too much coffee, then you get hyper. So I want to start that if you are hyper, then you drink too much caffeine. So let's look for, or I keep saying caffeine, it's coffee. if you are hyper, then you drink too much coffee. So if you are hyper, then you're drinking too much coffee. A looks good. If you are hyper, you're drinking too much coffee. B looks good. C throws in negation. It says if you don't drink, so let's not even worry about that one. And D says if you are hyper, you're drinking too much coffee. So at least we're now down to A, B, and D. Okay. Inverse says I want to go back to the statement, but now I want to put in not. So now I want to say if you do not drink too much coffee, then you do not get hyper. Okay, so I need to keep coffee first. So you see how this one doesn't keep coffee first, so let's get rid of it. This one also doesn't have coffee first, we can get rid of it. But here we are at D, coffee is first. So if you don't drink too much coffee, then you won't get hyper, so D is our answer. All right. Number 47 says P and Q represent a simple statement. Write the indicated compound statement in symbolic form. So P says they set the alarm, as Q says they get up on time. So the statement is they set the alarm or they get up on time. So I want to start with set the alarm, which is P. My connector or looks like a V. They get up on time, Q. So P or Q, that would be B. 48 says use Demorgan's law to write the negation. Biggest part of using Demorgan's law is to say or is going to switch to and is going to switch to or. So we are negating it, but we also need to remember to change the connective. So it says Roger or Emil will attend the game. So now I'm going to say not, okay? So how about Roger or Emil will not attend the game? Well, no, the or is still there. That's a problem. Roger and Emil will attend the game. Well, we switched the or to and, but they didn't negate it, so that's a problem. How about Roger will not attend the game and Emil will attend the game? Well, we didn't negate both of them. So D, Roger will not attend the game and Emil will not attend the game. That's perfect. So we had to switch the or to the and we had to negate going to the game. 49 says use a truth table to determine whether the symbolic form of the argument is valid or invalid. Alright, so look at, here's all the choices through here. I'm going to have to write this out. I'm trying to see where there's room. We'll figure it out. Maybe just right here. So here I have P, Q, and R, and the total statement is Q implies P and P implies R implies R implies Q. So remember that like 1 and 2, the premise and the conclusion. So these are my premise. Q implies P and P implies R, and then it has to imply that R implies Q. Now look at A. See this and right here? Not going to be it because of the and. This one looks better because it has the implies. This one has the and the implies. This one has the and the implies. So those three are okay, but I could already get rid of A, and I think that's a good idea. Whatever you can get rid of, go ahead and do it. Alright, so let's see what else we can look at as we go down there, because I know this is really long for me to kind of throw in somewhere. So let's look at the P, Q, and R. So I see 4 truths, then 2's, and then 1. So P, Q, and R look the same in all of them. So let's look at P implies Q. True, true would be true. True, true is true. True, well, it helps if I go in the right order. Sorry. I need to go Q implies P. So true, true is true. True, true is true. False, true is true. False, true is true. True, false is false. True, false is false. False, false is true. False, false is true. So that one's good, and let's just look down and see they're the same. Alright, so that doesn't help us. P implies R. True, true is true. True, false is false. True, true is true. True, false is false. And then anything false is true. So again, this is the same as this, which is the same as that. So we have those statements being the same as well. So far, the three are the same. Alright, so this next really big middle one is putting these two implies together with the connective of and. And says they'll have to all be true. So like true, true is true, that's good. true, false is false, true, true is true, true, false is false, false, true is false, false, true is false, true, true is true, true, true is true. And that is the same here, it's the same here. It's not the same here and here. So I can see this one is fine because I had my true, false, 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 true, true. This one, true, false. This one, it should have been true, so that makes this a problem, and it says we can get rid of this one because of that. And same thing, let's look at here. True, false, and again, this one's all messed up. Alright, so let's just go ahead and finish because I think that's a good idea. R implies Q, so I'm going true, true. So true, true is true, false, true is true, true, false is false, false, false is true, true, true is true, false, true is true, true, false is false, false, false is true. So that one looks good. The last thing is to put these two together with implies. So true, true is true, false, true is true, true, false is false. That's a big deal. False, true is true, false, true is true, false, true is true, true, false, again, false, that's a big deal. And then true, true is true. Getting this false or this one, either one, makes this not a tautology, which makes it invalid. So B is my answer. I know that was kind of a yucky mess, but truth tables can be that way. 50 says use an Euler diagram to determine if the argument is valid or invalid. So it starts with all. So here's all doctors have studied chemistry. All always goes inside. All doctors are surgeons. So that means another circle for surgeons needs to go inside of doctors. So I have all surgeons are doctors. All doctors studied chemistry. Therefore, all surgeons have studied chemistry. Absolutely. Okay. Big difference then in 51, I added the word some. Okay. So these are cars, and this is going to be sporty. So some cars are considered sporty. Some cars are safe at high speeds. It says nothing about sporty, so let's put high speed over here. Therefore, some sports cars are safe at high speed. No idea, right? There's nothing in there that relates the high speed to the sports cars, so we say that's invalid. Okay. All soda pops are carbonated, so let's start with soda. Let's make them carbonated. All diet colas are soda pops. So once again, I'm throwing that diet inside the soda pop. So, therefore, all diet colas are carbonated? Absolutely. Alright. Then number 53 says translate the argument into symbolic form, then use a truth table to determine if the argument is valid or invalid. And I just said ignore the differences in past, present, and future tense. So if it says, if it is Tuesday, I do not work late. So let's say that's P implies Q. This says I work late, Q, therefore is not Tuesday. Alright, I'm going to see if I have some room down here to test this. My argument, so what am I going after? I want P implies Q and Q, therefore not P. So if it is Tuesday, oops, I need a negation there. I do not work late, so not Q. So it should be P implies not Q, because I didn't put that not in there before. So P implies not Q. I work late, which is Q, therefore not P. So let's see if I have some room down here to do this. So I have P, I have Q. I have not P, I have not Q. I have P implies not Q. I have P implies not Q and Q. And then the whole thing is P implies not Q and Q, therefore not P. I know that was kind of long. Alright, so we know we start true, true, false, false. True, false, true, false. Then I have false, false, true, true. false, true, false, true. Okay. P implies not Q, so true implies false is false. True implies true is true. False implies false is false. False implies true is also, oops. Let's just fix that because I think I was talking and not really thinking. So let's go back to this column because I feel like I messed it up. So I just want to do that again because I caught myself. All right, let's go back to P implies not Q. True implies false is false. So true, false, false. True, true is true. False, false is true. And then false, true is true. The only thing we're watching for with implies is true implies false. All right. I'm going to put that together with the column of Q. My connective and says I need them all to be true. So false, true is false. True, false is false. True, true is true. And then true, false is false. Now I'm going to have that imply not P. So now I have false, false is true. False, false is true. True, true is true. False, true is true. All true says this is valid. So now let's scooch right back on up to where we were. Kind of lost my place. We're just up here. This was valid. I know it's a lot of work for one that's 50-50, but it's kind of nice to get it right. All right, the last one says, write the negation of the quantified statement. All right, so it says some drinks are not liquids. Some is existential. I want to switch to universal, which is all. You can see that all 4 choices say all. This says not liquids. Get rid of the not, make it liquids. So all drinks are liquids. So all drinks are liquids. That looks like C. All right, that is the end of our logic and the end of our midterm review. So I hope that helps. Again, remember there were quizzes on my math lab. Repeating those should possibly help too. The more you do something, the better you get at it. It will keep the best of your scores, so don't worry about messing up the quiz and getting a worse score and then not having what you need in the grade book. That's not a problem. But just again, that repetition, do it without your notes and you'll do better, and make sure you have a calculator.